Hey, thanks for joining me on this bright sunny day. It is time to do the real world mile per gallon test. And this week we're going to be testing the 2024 Toyota Sequoia. And this is the TRD Pro version. So it's got the iForce Max engine in it. So this is also in terracotta. So let's take a closer look at it. So this is a new color. This terracotta color is pretty awesome. And as you can see, you've got TRD Pro there. You got the TRD Pro wheels. This is also a 3-row SUV. I like how this is all blacked out. So you got Sequoia across there, but it's all in black. Even the Toyota logo is black. That is pretty cool. Now you got the third row is down and one on the second, so you can actually see how much space is back here. But the problem is that you do have this really high load height. Now this piece down here does come out and it has different levels, so you can move it up so that it is level with the third row, so you have more of a flat loading floor. But like I said, it is kind of high, so I don't know. I really would like to see those seats go down a little bit farther, make it a little bit easier load spot. Here is the second row, captain's chairs. See, it's got the orange stitching all the way through it. It looks really nice, and do have this kind of a camo pattern in the seat here. All right, and in the back you do have your climate control back here also. And here is a look at the front. Same thing, got power seats with lumbar, TRD Pro in the seat with the camo. Nice big screen right here. And really big console. It's pretty nice. Got a couple little compartments in there. You got your gear shifter right there with the orange on it. Also it says TRD, so does the steering wheel. Okay, so that's all about that. I will give you some more information about that as we drive, and I'm also going to give you parameters about the test. So make sure you guys watch that so you can keep an eye on what's going on. I'm going to update you at every time we enter a city and leave a city, or anything time I think you guys should know what's going on. All right, so let's head to the gas station. We'll get filled up and then we'll get this thing started. Nothing special about this one, so we don't have to put any special gas in. So we are just going to put in regular, which is $3.54 right now for 87, $4.24 for 89, and $5.14 for 91. Let's get going. We did drive this a little bit the other day, so it might take just a little bit to fill it up. Oh, not too bad. Not as bad as what I thought it was going to be, but there we go. Just a little over 2 gallons. We are now topped off. All right, let's get this buttoned back up. You can see on this side, this is what we're going to be looking at over there. You got distance to empty, 346. Total average right now is at 18. So we're going to reset that. Hold that down and reset. Okay, that's reset. We're also going to reset the trip down here. So we're going to go to trip A, and we're going to hold that, reset. Okay, we are ready to go. So let's see if I can get a little closer in here. So there we've got 0 miles per gallon and 0 miles driven. So that's what we're going to be following right there. We're going to get on the road right now. I'm going to update you on the parameters of this test here shortly, and then also a little more information about this Sequoia TRD Pro. It's a very large vehicle, but it is a pretty awesome vehicle and a pretty awesome engine in there, so make sure you guys stick around for that. All right, let's get this going, and I will update you along the way. Coming into our first town right now, and we're going to be making a loop through this town. So far right now, we are looking at 18.2 coming into town, 342 miles left, and we've gone 4.2 miles so far. With your iForce Max over here, lets you know when you're in hybrid mode or whenever you've kicked into the turbo and everything. It's pretty nice to be able to see all of that stuff. All right, after we get done with this loop, then I will update you guys as we head out on the highway, and then we'll get a little more information about the parameters on this test. Okay, we made our loop through town, and right now we are sitting at 18.2, 18.3, so that's doing pretty good. So I got the window sticker out, and this is supposed to be 19 in the city, 22 in the highway, with an average of 20 miles per gallon. So that's the number we're shooting for, 20 miles per gallon. And I'm going to update you guys about the parameters of this test next, and then we'll be headed into another town. If you haven't joined us before on these tests, I'm just going to run you guys down about what we do during these tests. So the first thing we do is we go to the gas station, we fill it up with gas. Of course, tire pressures are set to manufacturer spec. And then once we leave there, we're going to drive 100 miles. 100 miles is the plan. We have moved, so my route has changed from what I previously did. So I'm still trying to iron out the exact miles. The last one we did actually ended up only about 91, I think, maybe 92 miles. So we're taking just a little bit different route to add some more miles onto that. But everything else is going to be the same. Now what we do is that 100-mile trip, we go 50 miles one direction, 50 miles in the opposite direction. That way we can counteract any wind or terrain or anything like that, which today there is a 13-mile-an-hour wind out of the west. So right now it is blowing on the passenger side, and we'll have it blowing on the back of us on the way there. So we'll have a little bit of tailwind on the first part of it, and then on the way back we'll have a headwind that we're driving into. The other thing that we're gonna do is we drive 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. So on the highway, it's gonna be 60, Interstate 75, and in town, gonna be probably a range between 35 and 50 miles per hour. We are gonna have about 20 miles of in-town driving. So each town that we drive into, we're going to make a loop through that town. So we hit stoplights, stop signs, etc., traffic, that type of thing. So you kind of get a real city drive in. We do that on the way there and on the way back. On the way back, it'll just be in the reverse order. And then we got interstate driving. We got 10 miles in one direction. We'll turn around and we'll head back the other direction. So we got 20 miles of interstate driving, and the rest will be highway driving. Should be a good mix of stuff that we've got going on here. And we return back to the original gas station that we filled up at, and we try to use the same pump. Okay, we are entering our next town, and we're gonna make a loop through here. So far, we are at 21.7 miles per gallon, and we have driven 28.5 miles. So we're doing really well there. We'll see what happens on this city drive. But after this loop through here, then I will update you before we get on the interstate. This is the 2024 Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro. So this is the top of the line, and it is a 3-row SUV. It is a very large vehicle, especially with all of this off-road stuff added on to it. It kind of makes it even bigger and bulkier. So if you like big and bulky, this is probably for you. So what you do get with the TRD Pro is you get the Fox internal bypass shocks. You get a little bit extra, I think you get rock rails, step rails. You also get some bulkier wheel well molding. It actually has this camo, black and gray camo look that's also in the seats, which is pretty cool. That all goes together. You do have a roof rack up there also. You do get a front skid plate, which is nice. And I believe you also have a rear one. You get a specially tuned front stabilizer bar. Those are just a few things that you get with the TRD Pro. Now, the biggest thing about this is it comes with the Toyota's iForce Max engine, which is a twin turbo V6. with 437 horsepower. Now, part of that is also because it is a hybrid, so it has a small electric drive motor that gives it that little extra horsepower. It doesn't seem to use it too often. I don't notice it come on very often, but like we mentioned earlier, we are supposed to average about 20 miles per gallon, and right now we're averaging around 21. So it's doing a good job of managing that. Now, we have spent most of the time on the highway. We've had a little bit of city driving, not a lot, but a little bit. If you want to know price point on this, got my trusty window sticker here. Pricing is going to start around $78,700, and it says this one is $82,954 with the destination fee and the options that were chose for this one. The biggest one being the roof rack that we saw at the beginning of the video. That was about $1,400 for that roof rack. So yeah, I don't know if that is really worth it or not, but let's see if we can get a little bit more light in here. It does come with a panoramic sunroof. That's pretty cool. It goes all the way back to the back, so the second and third rows can also enjoy that sunlight. That's all I'm going to tell you about that right now. The seats are fairly comfortable, but they're also fairly flat. I don't feel the bolstering coming around the sides. Now, I did just get out of a Toyota Supra, which was really tight, and the Lexus LC500 that had nice sport seats in there. These are not sport seats. These are touring seats. They do have a nice feel to them. They are nice and soft. They just aren't as contoured to your body, but it just depends on your size. Someone a little bit larger than me might feel a little snug in here. And if you're kind of small, you might feel like you're going to slide around or fall out. So try them out, but they actually do feel pretty good. I feel like I could probably drive this for a long period of time, which we are going to do today. The drive is actually about an hour and a half, and you guys are going to see about 20 minutes of it. So, all right, that is all I've got for you guys. The next thing I'm going to update you is we're going to be coming into a town here soon, and we're going to make a loop through that town. So I will give you an update on our miles per gallon so far, and then I'll let you know after we get through that loop and before we get on the interstate. We're getting ready to get on the interstate after making that loop through the town, and right now we are at 20.7 miles per gallon. So we're going to get up on the interstate right here. We're going to be right behind this car, and once we get to the top here, we're going to give it some hard acceleration just so you guys can hear the engine and the exhaust. I know a lot of people like to get out here and have to accelerate very quickly onto the interstate. Some do, some don't, but in this test we're going to, because I think more often than not people do give it a significant amount of gas. So here we go, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that wasn't a really hard acceleration. I did do that relatively mild because we did have a car in front of us, but we're going to lock in at 75 miles per hour. So you can see there we're at 75. We've gone 36.8 miles so far. We've got 20.2 miles per gallon after getting up here on the interstate. So once we get ready to turn around, I will let you know where we're at on that 10-mile interstate trip, and we'll get turned around and headed back in the opposite direction. In case I didn't mention earlier, as sometimes I forget to mention this, we do all of our tests in normal mode. So whatever the normal mode for the vehicle is, that's what we put it in. We leave it in. When we get in, we don't change it to eco, we don't change it to sport or anything like that. We're not trying to maximize, we're just trying to give you a realistic what would happen every day if you just got in your car and took off driving. So that's what we plan to do, and I will update you when we get off the interstate to make our turn. Getting ready to get off the interstate, make this loop around and head back in the opposite direction. You can see we've got a beautiful day today. Right now we are at 19.5 miles per gallon, and we just hit 49.5 miles. So we're all right, just under that 50-mile mark that we need to reach to do this flip and change direction. So hopefully this is going to work out real well. And there's usually not too much traffic at this intersection, but it also is a Friday afternoon, and there could be a little bit more traffic than normal. But usually we can come up here, do a quick loop without any problems, and yep, nothing going on. So we can go right on out here, head over the overpass, and we'll head right back out onto the interstate. Yeah, that was pretty easy, and it looks like might have a little bit of more clear road in front of us on this on-ramp, so we will give it a little bit more acceleration, and you guys can really hear that engine and the exhaust. It does sound good. It does have a kind of a burble going on back there. One thing I can tell you is this roof rack that costs like $1,500 or something like that is really loud. So ready, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, it has no problem getting up to speed. All right guys, so right now we 19.2. So we're riding at 19.2. We do have a headwind on us this time, so the rest of this trip we may actually lose some more. We're supposed to average around 20. We're a little under that right now. We'll see if that changes throughout the rest of this trip. Okay, I will let you guys know when we're getting off the interstate and heading back into town. This is our exit off of the interstate and head back into town, where we're going to make a loop through there. Check right now, we are at 18.9 miles per gallon, so now we're under the 19 city rating of the EPA and about a mile per gallon under what the average is. We are also going to have a headwind pretty much the rest of this drive, so I don't know, we might actually fall under what the rating is, but we'll check our numbers with a calculator when we get back to make sure that we're in line where we're supposed to be. And maybe the Sequoia is the one that's wrong, and maybe our calculations will total up to the same thing the EPA has. So we'll have to see when we get done, but we're gonna make a loop through this town, and I will update you as we head out. All right, we have made our loop through town, and now we're out on the highway. We did have a train incident, and we had to kind of go around a train to get out because the train was stopped on the tracks. But we are out on the highway now, and we are looking at 18.6 miles per gallon, which is under the 19 city and definitely under the 20 that we're supposed to average. And we are looking at about 74 miles so far that we've driven. So doing really well. I think we might gain some on this since we are out on the highway, but we are driving into a 13-mile-an-hour headwind now. So we'll have to see how that ends up. I will update you guys when we come into the next town, and we'll make a loop through that town. We are coming into town. We're going to make a loop through this town and then head back to the gas station. So what we're looking at right now is 19.1. That 20 mile per gallon average is not looking so good right now. We got a little bit of city driving here that's probably going to be, it's supposed to be average around 19 in the city, so we're probably not going to gain any, really. But we'll just have to see what happens. So we'll make a loop through this and head back to the gas station. I'll update you as we leave town. Made our loop through town. We were back out on the highway. We were headed back to the gas station. So what we're looking at right now is 19 miles per gallon. I don't think we're going to get to that 20 that the EPA has it rated at. But there is that possibility that the calculations or the programming in the Sequoia is wrong. So we'll find that out when we run our numbers through a calculator and see what the actual mile per gallon is. You can also see down here that we are at about 97.7 miles. So by the time we get back to the gas station, we should be right at 100 miles, hopefully. And if that's the case, then that will be the trip that we take from now on. And I will update you as we get ready to pull into the gas station. We are almost back to the gas station, and yes, we have made it 100.7 miles. So that, I guess, is going to be our new route for this 100-mile real-world mile per gallon test. And we are at 19.1, so we failed to make the 20 that the EPA said we were going to, or we should average. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get filled up now, get the same pump we used last time, and then we will use the calculator and figure out some numbers. All right, we are back at the gas station. We're gonna get filled up now, and same process, no special requirements on fuel, so we'll be using the 87 octane. Stick in there, and here we go. I know there's a lot of people that say you're supposed to use premium on turboed engines or whatever the case may be, but unless it is specified and stated that the vehicle requires it, we don't put that in there. We just put what normal people would on normal day. You know, a lot of people, even though it says to put premium in, doesn't always put premium in. But all right, we should be getting close here. I'm gonna say 5 gallons. Hey, look at that, just over 5 gallons and right on $18. That's pretty cool. Okay. All right, so that is the number that we are going to go by, is 5.072. Now that should be easy enough to do. Get everything all done up there. We are not going to get a receipt, so 5.072 is what we're going to use. All right, let's get in and do some calculations. The truck does say 101 miles. Total. So 101 is what we're going to be going off of. So 101 even divided by 5.072, right? Yep, that's it. And 19.91. Hopefully you can see that really well in the screen there. So there you go. EPA was 20, 19.9. You don't get much closer than that. So the EPA was right, but the Sequoia is off because the Sequoia says 19.1. So it just may be their calculations in there, but it pretty much did what it was supposed to do. So that's your number, 2024 Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro with the I-Force Max engine. You're going to look at 19.9 miles per gallon or 20 miles per gallon, just like the EPA says. All right, guys, that's it. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on all of these tests and my reviews. There's a review of this Sequoia on the channel right now, and it should be right next to my head right here. So click on one of these videos, either for the Sequoia or the other one that YouTube thinks you might like. I think you're gonna like them both. So make sure you click on one, and I will see you in the next one.